So I've decided to bring you into my bed today. Don't know why. It's not a particularly intimate subject that we're discussing. But I put up a poll on the Voices of Vic Instagram page a few days ago. I asked everyone for two names: the best professor at U of T and the worst professor at U of T. Got some interesting results. I didn't know all the professors' names. Some of them I knew, some of them I had. But the ones I didn't know, I decided to look them up on Rate My Prof, read some reviews about them, see if they really are as good or bad as some of these VOV voters are saying. Turns out that Rate My Prof is one of the funniest websites to ever exist. We're going to go through 5 U of T professors today. We have Sarah Mays Tang, Selva, my man, Michael Kahn, Kenneth Yip, and Belinda Chang. So if you've taken any of these professors, let me know. Stick around to hear some of their insane reviews. Start off with Sarah Mays Tang. 335 ratings, 1.5 out of 5 quality rating overall. Haven't learned anything all year. Well, that's not what you want in university, is it? Matt 135 Soldiers, just take the winter semester course. Awful, useless lecture. Terrible, do not pick this professor if you value your time and if you respect yourself. She does not teach in lectures, would rather talk about sexism, gender, and indigenous people than math. Probably the worst class I've ever taken in my life. Avoid at all costs or drop out because this teacher will not benefit you whatsoever. Be advised. Alright, so you have ratings like this, which would absolutely scare off anyone signing up to her class. But then you have this rating next. She is very passionate and cares about her students. Make sure to keep up with assignments and quizzes and attend lectures, and you'll be just fine. Probably my favorite professor at U of T. So generally, this is my opinion, when you have a professor that gets such polarizing reviews, generally these are people that are bold in their opinions, bold in their values, bold in their morality, because that is what is going to separate people into severely disliking you or admiring you. And we're going to get to a professor here who manages to get everyone on his side. I don't know exactly how he does it. Does not teach. Either learn it yourself, switch profs, or fail. Alright, let's move on to Selva. Full name, Selva Kadunko Selvaratnam. Shittest prof ever, avoid at all costs, and you'll thank me later. Absolutely straight to the point with that one. Just listen to what he tells you and pay attention to his assignments. He genuinely wants everyone to pass. Literally no excuse to get below an A. And I'm not even a math-savvy student. You'll come to see a trend with these reviews. The students who succeed in the class tend to have a pretty favorable opinion of the teacher, of the professor. The students who do shit coincidentally also hate the professor. Isn't that funny? Now you might argue that the professor was so bad, they didn't allow the student to do well in the class. That's why they didn't succeed. Maybe. But then explain how so many students' reviews of the exact same professor in the exact same lecture section can be so wildly different. How can you have 100 people listening to the exact same speech, the exact same lesson? Half the class says he's great, half the class says he's trash. I would argue that in most cases, when a student leaves a negative review of a professor, they're really leaving a review of themselves. How they did in the class, their study habits maybe weren't the great, they didn't show up on time, they didn't even go to all the lectures. But they're externalizing the blame. Oh, it's the professor's fault. He was trash. That's why I didn't succeed. Even though 20 people got 90s, it was the professor's fault. Course is not hard, but after the final, he doesn't respond to emails. Quality 1.0. How does the professor get a 1 just from not responding to emails at the end of the course? I feel terrible for whoever this person's going to end up dating, because if your text game is not on point, you're going to get cheated on. No offense, but his accent is a disaster. I actually took Selva's stats courses last year, and I can confirm that his accent is thicker than Kim Kardashian. What I think is interesting is that I would go to class with my friend Krishna. Selva's an Indian professor. Krishna's from India, and he said the accent was not an issue at all. I don't know what it is, because people say my dad has an accent, a Mexican accent. Of course, I was raised with him speaking to me in that accent that I can't even hear. So I'm thinking it's the same phenomenon here. Doesn't deserve the hate. His classes are set up so that you get a lot of free marks. Assignments weren't very difficult and had high averages. Exam was also very reasonable. Selva is a nice man. And in general, I actually don't believe in complaining about a professor when you get a bad grade, because then you miss all the important lessons that bad grades are meant to teach you. If you get a 65 and have zero self-accountability, you'll just say, oh, professor's fault, his lectures suck. How did he get hired? All he does is read from the slides. Externalize. Blame outward. Or you could think, okay, I got a 65. What can I do to improve that next year? Maybe I should wake up earlier. Maybe I should fix my study methods. Maybe I'm studying too much. I need a little more balance, a little more physical activity. When you start thinking of how it could be your fault, you come up with so many different ways of how you could improve yourself as a person, even if it's the professor's fault. When you take accountability, you're forced to make yourself better. Because there's still students in that class who get good grades. There's still students in your class who got 90s. What did they do that you didn't do? Smart students, the real geniuses out there, they don't depend on whether the teacher's good or bad to get good grades. They get good grades no matter what. They just pull up, good professor, cool. Bad professor, cool, no problem. Maybe I'll put in a little extra work for this one. They understand the scenario, they understand the situation. So you have to look up some stuff on your own. So you have to teach yourself a little bit. Watch a YouTube video every week. You're on your phone anyways. All the time. Who cares? Screen time is through the roof already. Who cares? Now you can use it for something productive. It's about having that internal locus of control, feeling like you're in control of your own life. I feel bad. I feel terrible for anyone who truly doesn't believe in their heart that they have an effect on their own outcomes. That might be one of the most crippling beliefs you could possibly have as a person. Because if you can't control anything, then what's the point of even trying? I go to UofT because I think that my studying, my actions are going to lead to positive outcomes in the future. I go to the gym because I think that lifting those weights is going to make me a stronger person. I make these stupid ass videos because I think that it's going to lead to something positive. You have to believe that when you do things, good things will come back to you. It's huge. All right, let's continue. Next professor, Michael Kahn. Never be late. He unreasonably values timeliness. Once glorified an intern for being at the job 3 hours early on her first day, as if that's helpful. I took Kahn's MGT 100 class in first year. I've had a handful of really good professors at UofT, but I will say right now, Michael Kahn absolutely has been my best professor in my first 2 years of university. This guy is a G. He's a professional. He's no bullshit. He knows what he's talking about. Absolute pleasure to take his class, and I'm excited to read some reviews here. Final exam 50% and 2 online quizzes 10% each at 8 a.m. Asked to change time because I commute. Rejected. Obviously, this is what I mean. I can just see Khan sitting there at his laptop reading this email thinking, oh, one kid might need to wake up early this year for 2 online quizzes. Get fucked. He forces you to buy his textbook to take tests. He talks about himself too much. He wants to be different from other profs, saying everything, including student answers, are testable. Okay, I'm sorry. Some of these business students are such dumbasses. How are you going to sit there in a program that's about making money, and then as soon as the professor does just that, sells you his textbook, you complain about it? Like, he's showing you the way. He's showing you how to do it. Like, what don't you understand? Everything is testable. I hate that. Michael Kahn is known for this famous saying, everything is testable. And I'm going to expose his ass right now. This is just another display of business students' low IQ. Unless a professor tells you otherwise, everything is always testable. And he says this on purpose. This is an introductory business course. If you can't handle the pressure of a professor telling you that everything is testable, you're clearly not cut out for the pressure that's going to come with the real business world. And when you finally take one of his tests, you'll realize that all the questions in there are completely sensible. They're stuff that we discussed in class or that was assigned in the reading, something like that. It's not stupid. He's not going to quiz you on the color of his shoes in week 8. Didn't learn a single applicable concept, but I can tell you why Michael Kahn loves Disney's corporate culture. I don't know what this is about. Tests on his personal life stories rather than concepts within the textbook. His life is interesting, I will say. He asks for students' feedback, but don't worry because he won't change anything about his teaching style. This is what I mean. Guy takes no bullshit. He's nice though. He's a nice person like to talk to. Very caring. He's the only one who took 30 minutes out of his lecture time to do a mental health check and make sure that students knew about the support they have on campus. What did I say? Sweet man. Michael Kahn is the stereotypical business person, has proper manners and seems like a fair negotiable person, but then will stab you in the back with a ridiculously hard final, which is difficult for no reason. Attend lectures, take notes, everything is testable. I don't know what Rodman did to this guy, but whatever it is, he's definitely taking it out on the class. Terrible prof, RSM 100, pretty much a joke of a course. He marks his short answer very specifically, so make sure you write word for word what he says in lectures. Pretty pretentious and cocky guy as well. Lectures are just him going over cases and talking about how successful he is. A healthy amount of ego is not a terrible thing, especially in business, especially as a business professor, as you're trying to show students what it takes to conduct yourself in that space. It's not about being cocky. I know that the review said cocky. You don't want to be cocky, but just to kind of teach the students, you're all 19 worthless pieces of garbage. I am a G. I teach at the University of Toronto. I'm successful in business, blah, blah, blah. Kind of inspiring them. That's more how I took it, because I understand what they're saying with that cockiness, but I didn't see it as that. I saw it as more just trying to inspire the students. That's just my opinion. The professor is so kind, not a tough grader. Just wanted to end Michael on a good review here. It does have 13 dislikes, but put that aside. Next up, Kenneth Yip. So Kenneth Yip, I've never taken his class. I have friends who've taken his class, and he was voted as the best professor at U of T from the Voices of Vic poll. A lot of people love Ken, so we're going to read some reviews, see why. Solid. The actual GOAT. This dude's incredible. He's so funny, but also so knowledgeable. I only got a bad grade because I learned everything the night before. Absolute godsend. Like I said, I've never had Kenneth Yip. I'm getting FOMO reading these. I've had friends who've taken his class. I don't even need to take his class. I just want to meet the guy. His positivity is radiating through the screen. I didn't know a U of T professor could be this good. Phenomenal. The GOAT of U of T. Only professor to get a full round of applause after every lecture. Every word this man speaks is golden. Gives obvious hints about what to expect on the exam. Professor Yip is everything. He is so caring about his work and really wants us to learn. He makes sure we all understand what's going on and genuinely wants us to succeed. So grateful to have been in his lecture. I want people to take a key lesson from this. One of the easiest ways to make yourself feel better is by making others feel better. Seriously, think about the mental health ramifications this has. You're a U of T professor and you're going through hard times in life. You show up to the class down, saturnine, low energy, ruining the entire mood of the class, and you give a terrible lecture. Then you gotta go back home on to Rate My Prof to read a student just called you the shittest professor ever, which makes you feel even worse, and it's a downward spiral from there. Or it could be like Kenneth Yip. Let's say he's going through a hard time in life. He forces the energy. Guys, this is gonna be an awesome lecture this week. I'm so excited to teach you guys this material. He gets to go home on to Rate My Prof, read that he's been called an absolute GOAT, a godsend, all this amazing stuff. Instantly, you fix the spiral. Now you're shooting up. The easiest way to feel good about yourself is by making others feel good. I was having a bad day at work last summer, and this old lady comes in. She shows me a picture. She says, my son built this walkway for us, and one of the pieces cracked. I'm not too sure which one it is. I don't know what to do. Right away, I'm just like, your son built that? No way, that's amazing. Is he a professional? The smile on this grandma's face, she just looks so proud. I could have done nothing and just sold her patio stones and felt like shit the rest of the day. But if you're able to force a bit of positivity and make the old lady smile, that reaction will actually make you feel better. All right, next professor, last professor here, we got Belinda Chang. Prof Chang tests the air she breathes and the blank parts of her lecture slides. Do not take this course during the year if you respect yourself. She says so much but so little. Zero logical flow in the lectures. I literally leave the lecture having no clue what I learned. Her slides are absolutely useless. She just rambles on, and it's such a messy lecture. She's so bad. The concepts are actually super simple, but no one has any idea what she's talking about. Doesn't know how to properly explain concepts and doesn't take the time to answer student questions. So I was reading through these reviews, right, getting ready for this video, and I noticed something incredible. I'm so happy I stumbled upon this professor's reviews. Those first three, all those terrible reviews were from the same course, HMB 265. As soon as you get down to another course she teaches, EEB 460, it completely flips. Look at how interesting this is. Prof Chang was a very clear lecturer who explained her section well. She was also very helpful when asked questions about the end of term assignment. Belinda Chang was a great lecturer in EEB 460. I thoroughly enjoyed her section of the course and felt I gained a lot of valuable skills. I would highly recommend this course to anyone looking to learn some practical bioinformatics skills. Most negative reviews are from HMB 265 students. HMB 265 is an unavoidable weeder course and poorly designed, perhaps on purpose. This does not reflect Dr. Chang as a professor, as was obvious when taking EEB 460. Dr. Chang is caring, approachable, and gave engaging, informative lectures. So I have a lot of second-year friends who took this HMB 265 course saying this professor was trash, garbage. Apparently, not only are weeder courses designed in a way, the course is structured so that it's hard for students and only the best of the best get through. The professor is also instructed to teach in a certain way. Isn't that crazy? I thought weeder courses were just designed for the best of the best to get through, and then all the idiots stay back. But apparently it looks like the professor can actually degrade their teaching style to guarantee that happens. Insane. I didn't know this. Anyways, that is reading U of T professors' reviews. Like the video if it deserved it. Subscribe to the channel for more. Follow us on Instagram at Voices of Vic, and we will see you next week. Peace out.